Hello there, and welcome to the Totnes Hemp show. That was Hits from the Bong, Cypress Hill, and with us today we have Des Humphrey, who I also understand occasionally likes to take a hit from the bong. Are you there, Des?
Yeah, I'm here, Chris. Yeah, I like to take quite regular hits from the bong.
Yeah? Well, why is that?
Well, it's good for you, isn't it? It's good for me anyway. It does some good for me. So helps the legs out, helps the pains out, puts a smile on your face, and gets you through the rest of the day.
Yeah? So you're a medicinal user of cannabis?
I am a medicinal user of cannabis. Yeah, I was a recreational user before I became a medicinal user, but I'm more medicinal now, more than recreational. But I do participate in some recreational use, most definitely.
Yeah, well actually I know you're a medicinal user because I've known you for some time now. It's a great pleasure to have got to know you, and you're probably one of the most vocal activists in the UK at the moment. I know you're very heavily involved with the work of Normal UK, as are many of us, and you're doing lots of campaigning, and you also, I understand recently you went to the Netherlands and you got stopped on the way out of the country.
Yeah, I went across to a private party for the coffee shop Birdie, Peter Lunk and Noel Van Shank invited us across, me and another person from the UK and my helper. And upon arriving at Bristol Airport, I was searched thoroughly, plus my suitcase and all my baggage. They were re-put back through the X-ray machines individually to be checked as well. My wheelchair was thoroughly checked. And then after all that, I had to go another 10 yards, and I was questioned then by the police.
So did they find anything in your wheelchair? I mean,
no. That's what I said. What's the point of me taking shit like this from the UK to the Netherlands to smoke when, the rubbish that we get on our street is not going to be any compared to what they can have in the Netherlands. So
I never bring anything back because I'm always over paranoid, and I remember I went over to Holland a few times, and I came back. I realised I had 3/8 of weed that I'd bought in this country in my inside pocket that I took into Holland and then back to the UK because I didn't realise it was in my pocket.
Yeah.
But I wasn't stopped, fortunately. They have stopped me a few times, and they told me. So I said, "Why do you keep stopping me? You won't find anything." And they said, "Well, they admitted to me that they don't really do random searches." So I presume the search of you leaving Bristol Airport wasn't a random search, but a search because you're a known medicinal user of cannabis and a cannabis activist.
I think so, yeah, because before I got involved in campaigning or activism, I used to still go to Holland on quite regular occasions when I was working, sometimes 3 or 4 times a year, and never got stopped.
Yeah.
But since I've been active, I've been trying to get stopped quite regular, especially coming back. I get stopped very often. I remember coming back on the the Eurostar.
Yeah.
The one you drive on. There's 2 sets of customs there. You've got the French customs, which search you with a dog and all the mirrors and do your car. And then 10 yards in front of you, you've got the British customs that does exactly the same as the French customs have just done.
Yeah.
And I got hit by the both of them on the same crossing. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I got searched by the French customs once, which I thought was a bit strange, on the way out, yeah. And
coming back to the UK, like.
In Exeter Airport, particularly grumpy customs, because sometimes they're okay, but this one was a bit grumpy, and he begrudgingly admitted that their searches were based on intelligence, and I said to him, well, no wonder there's so many drugs in the UK if your intelligence is telling you to search people like me.
Yeah.
Actually,
you're searching the wrong person, like.
Yeah, but, another time I said to him, well, I'm glad you're wasting your time searching me, because there might be somebody else on the plane who's got a suitcase full of cannabis. So good.
We need it.
So, search me. They won't find anything, and then hopefully somebody else is getting through with some cannabis so that people can medicate with it, or even use it recreationally. Shock horror, use it recreationally.
We've got to like things like that now.
So, on to the next stage. You got searched, you had your wheelchair searched by the customs officials or Border Patrol, which... I've never had that, being searched out of the UK. I've been searched coming in. But you said that wasn't it. You thought you were on your merry way, and then you were stopped again by a police officer. Is that right?
Yeah, well, straight after the search, you can see the police officer in front of the customs. Like,
Yeah.
I'm getting searched, and I can see this cop eyeing me up, sort of thing. And I'm thinking to myself, he's definitely going to have a chat to us, like, no doubt about it.
Eyeing you up?
Yeah, eyeing me up and down, like, you know, as it goes.
Well, okay.
But yeah, as we got towards him, he called me over. Mr. Humphrey, can you come and have a little chat with me a minute, please? You're smelling very suspicious of a cannabis user. I said, well, no doubt I am. I've just had a joint before I come to the airport. I said, I can't go on a long journey like this without having some sort of medication. I said, I'll be screaming up in the airplane, shouting out my feet are going to explode if I don't, like. And that's going to look really good on a flight when you're shouting to people, my feet are exploding, innit?
So, but he was quite nice, I understand.
Yeah, he was brilliant, the cop. I was going to be fair, he was a decent bloke, like, as they go. And because you've got to be fair, most of them are alright.
Yeah, what they're just told, search and question Mr. Humphrey. You know, they're just doing what they're told.
Yeah. And it's funny how they know everything about it before they even talk to you. So,
yeah.
Yeah, he knew I was in the forces. Well, he knew I was in the forces before he only asked me the question, like, because the stupid question he asked me was, how long did I serve in the forces? Yeah, it was a good conversation. That's what we talked about most of the time, is what we'd done, what I'd done. He was in the forces as well. He got out in 1985, I think it was. Then that was the year I joined, so he was a couple of years older than me.
So a couple of old army boys having a natter in the end. So all's well that ended well. And you got safely to Holland. Now, you were going because it was the Birdie Coffee Shop in Haarlem's, was it the 25th anniversary? 25th
anniversary of it being open, yeah, and God, how to celebrate in style out there! I tell you what, it was really, really, really good. We started off, I think we met up in coffee shop Sativa, one of in Harlem, one of Noel's coffee shops. I think we had a couple of spliffs in there. Then I had the privilege of going to Peter Lunk's house, meeting his family, sharing some lovely strawberry cake with him, which was obviously full of cannabis. Sharing a good few smokes with Noel, and some other activists in the UK. So, and then, yeah, we had a good time.
Who was there? Noel was there, yeah?
Yeah, Noel Van Schaik was there, Peter Lunk, one of our friends, Bob. He goes by the name of Bob, that's why everybody knows him as Bob. So they call him Bob.
I know Bob.
There's me, my helper, Peter Lunk's wife, Iris, I remember the name because it's the same name as my wife's name.
So you had a great time, and they didn't search you coming back in?
No, I'm coming back home.
So they weren't concerned if you was bringing Primo, but maybe they were worried that you would bring some shitty cannabis sold on the black market into Holland, and perhaps that was a concern of them, and but the Dutch, maybe the Dutch asked them, but I doubt it, because I doubt Des has much shitty cannabis.
Unless they wanted some good cannabis coming in from Holland.
Okay then, let's put some music on. You chose some Pink Floyd for us, yeah?
Yeah, Momentary Rhapsody, I believe it was.
Yeah, any particular reason why you chose that?
Well, yeah, it can send you into little days, can you? I always remember smoking this, listening to this many, many years ago when I first started consuming cannabis, when we had Moroccan and Red Seal and Gold Seal. And I remember just sitting in a nice dark room and this album screeching out in the corner, and it takes me back into some nice times. Okay,
let's put it on. I could hear Des singing along there, but Paul assures me that the rest of you couldn't hear that.
Oh, that's all right then.
I wasn't sure. I have to turn my microphone.
That brings back the memories after.
Yeah. I have to make sure my microphone is muted or you can hear me. I'm getting the hang of this, though. This is only my third show. This is Critical Mass Radio, the Totnes Hemp show with Chris Bovey and Des Humphrey. You were saying before you were in the army. Can you tell us a little bit about when you joined and what you did in the army?
Yeah, joined in 1986, I believe. 86, yeah. Done my basic training in a place called Sutton Coldfield. Joined the Infantry Regiment, Royal Regiment of Wales, because I come from Wales, obviously. Yeah. Done a lot of sport in the army, I suppose I could say. Done a lot of rugby, boxing, shot at Bisley for them.
You were a Welsh karate champion, were you not?
Yeah. Before I joined the army, I'd done a lot of sport, obviously, and karate was one of my main ones. Yeah, I started that when I was 10. Represented Britain by the time I finished. So.
Wow, you got further than me. I did karate at school for a few years, but then I discovered drinking on a Friday night and kind of slipped out of it.
Yeah, I think I discovered that at later life as well.
A bad
Drinking
thing.
a girl sort of thing, bad things, yeah.
Yeah. So you were quite active and sportive, and then when did you have your first accident?
Oh, my first one would have been, let me think now, my first bad army one would have been around about 1992. We was stationed in Hong Kong between 1990 and 93, so I think we went to Australia in 92, so yeah, it would have been around about 92, my first one.
Yeah.
And that was when I fell off a 4-ton lorry. They weren't a British 4-ton lorry, it was an Australian 4-ton lorry. Army lorry. I was camming up, or decamming, making sure everything was put on top of the cabin. And they all get strapped down with bungee cords before going to the ranges. And one of the bungee cords give way, and down I came. I was evacuated to an airfield ambulance, given some marvellous treatment on the way. That you made to suck on this morphine, I think it was, or laughing gas, or some kind, whatever it was. But it sends you into another place. It was an incredible journey, that was.
But that didn't put you out of action, did it?
No, I lost all feeling for the first 2 weeks. I was put on traction. That was so. Obviously, they kept me in hospital, and then after 2 weeks, I came out. Went back onto the exercise. I had another fall on the same exercise. So I went back to hospital for another week. And then on the way back then from Australia, the army records got messed up because we was moving from Hong Kong down to Northern Ireland. So follow-on treatment wasn't sought after really. But I had a few more accidents en route then.
You got run over by a car twice. Is that
yeah,
right?
well, yeah, it was on when we was in Northern Ireland. It was in Northern Ireland, and we was on tour in Cardiff. The rugby team were. And we just finished playing Newport County, which back in them days were, a pretty good team to play. And we basically given them a good thrashing, and they didn't want to drink with us after the game, so we headed straight back to Cardiff. We was back in Cardiff, I think, by 10 o'clock at night, so we decided to go out for a quick one. Had one pint in the Goat Major, got out the Goat Major, crossed the road and bang, got hit by a car.
Oh dear. So after a series of accidents, you became pretty ill, yeah?
Yeah. What happened was 4 discs in the lumbar region of my spine popped out, and I'll be honest, they stayed popped out for about 5 days before I went and seen about it, because I'd seen somebody across the road. She used to walk exactly the same as I used to walk, all crippled up and weird. And I remember taking her down, stopping her one day and saying to her, "Look, when you need to go and see somebody, love, you're not looking well." And when she went and basically went to see somebody, she had cancer of the spine. And I thought, oh, no way. I don't want to know about things like that. I'd rather not know. So that's why I didn't go and see. When they did come out, I didn't go and see about it until in the end I had to, because I hadn't gone to the toilet for about 4 or 5 days.
Oh dear. So when you went there wasn't much they could do for you.
Well, no. Obviously, they said we've got to take the discs out and repair what damage is there, if it can be repaired. But they reckon with nerve damage, after a couple of days, they're unrepairable, so they say. So that's what happened. They too long a time where the discs had done their damage.
Yeah.
And the nerves are unrepairable then.
So it's just one of those things, really. Bad luck.
Yeah, it's like I got no skin or flesh feeling from the waist down. Everything is numb. You could put fags out them, you can put drawing pins, and I can't feel none of it.
No, I wouldn't want to do that to you. I can make a voodoo Des.
Yeah, they
I
wouldn't
could put pins in you. I couldn't think of anyone I would want to put pins into. Well, maybe both.
Yeah, we won't go down there.
Okay, we haven't actually got time. No, we don't. We won't perform any voodoo. So let's have some more music. Let's Bert Jant, who I met last year, who sadly passed away shortly after I met him. I had the pleasure to see him do the last ever public performance, which was with Pentangle, who are one of my favourite bands. This is Black Waterside Bert Jant, who sadly passed away last year, but his music will of course always live on forever. This is the Totnes Hemp Show with Chris Bovey and Des Humphrey on Critical Mass Radio. Hi Des, you still with us?
Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah,
I could hear you medicating during the song.
Yeah, I did. I had a couple.
Yeah. Now we talked about your accident, which has obviously left you in a certain amount of pain and immobility, and you use cannabis for a medicine. Could you tell us what you're actually using it for? What does it do?
Yeah, I'm using it for a few reasons. It's not just the one complaint I'm using it for. Obviously, after all my operations, because I've had a few operations, I was put on a cocktail of tablets: morphine, Tegretol, gabapentin, Seroquel, diazepam.
Gee, quite a cocktail.
Oh yeah, there's more. There's Voltarol, Baclofen, Cialis, Citropanal. Then you had tablets in to stop you feeling sick, anti-sick tablets. Then you had tablets to help you go to the toilet because you couldn't go to the toilet because of the side effects of all the other tablets.
Gee.
And I also had to self-catheterize 3 times a day because my bladder holds a lot more than what a normal bladder should hold, because the nerves obviously are not telling the bladder 20. So using all them tablets and trying to use a self-catheter in that sort of state is not a good thing. Like, and half the time I had to have my wife help me to do things, because after you've taken that sort of amount of medication, of prescribed drugs, you don't really have much sort of chance of doing anything, because you feel such a mong and you feel such a kind of a state on the set either. You don't feel like doing anything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've heard people say this before, that it just zombifies them.
Oh, yes, it takes away. I think it takes away your soul. That's my thing about it. It makes you feel like as if you don't care about nothing, anybody, anyone.
So you're given a cocktail of drugs to deal with the pain and also spasms, yeah? Which is giving you all sorts of side effects. And you discovered that smoking cannabis did a better job, or did the same job, or what?
Well, yeah, in fact, it does a hell of a better job, because, you know, when you're on all that sort of medication, you're not in an happy sort of state. You're not in a good state. I found that consuming cannabis for spasms and cramps and other ailments that's wrong with me is doing a far better thing. For instance, now I'm not hardly having any cramps as long as I got 3 or 4 strains that I could pick and choose. Obviously, because I don't like keeping to one strain, because the body can become a bit immune to that type of strain. So swapping the strains throughout the day, like a sativa, indica, hybrid strain, will do a lot better for you.
So the pharmaceuticals basically went out, the scripts went in the bin, yeah? Yeah,
I come off everything. I don't even take a paracetamol tablet anymore. And another good thing that cannabis has done that no other drug has been able to do is I don't need to self-catheterize anymore, and cannabis sort of sorts my bladder out. I can go to the toilet like a normal person now and empty it when I need to.
Right,
as long as you got them strains that can help you with that sort of condition, like.
Okay, things that many of us would just obviously take for granted. So you're saving the government money.
Yeah, I'm saving a vast amount of money. I was getting prescribed that Sativax, which is obviously another way for pharmaceutical companies to make thousands and thousands from.
It's a cannabis tincture that's okay, but not a particularly amazing one.
No, because it's only one type of strain that they're growing in this, and like I said, it's all to do with strains, with whatever illness you got.
Not like when we had Greg on the first show, who went to California and to treat his Crohn's disease, and he was able to go into the dispensaries and get the different types of cannabis that he needs to help him for certain times of the day or how he's feeling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And out in places like that, you not only got the strains to pick from, you got the edibles, because that's another path that you can go down to. That is well, I find eating edibles far better for my condition than consuming it with a joint. Like, I find consuming it with a joint is more of a recreational thing for me. To use it as pure medicinal is the eating bit for me, and maybe dabbing, because that's another experience again.
Yeah, well, of course, we had Free Rob Cannabis on the show last week, who stopped smoking cannabis and now only eats it. Yeah.
Well, I got to be fair. When I make my own flapjacks, and they quite good, my flapjacks.
I've had one.
I won't have a joint in the day usually. I'll have a flapjack in the morning, and I might have a joint in the night, like to help me go to sleep at bedtime, because I don't feel the need to have them, because I'm not chasing any rush of anything. I'm using it for a medical reason. Obviously, if somebody comes round and comes in for a smoke, then I start recreational using it, and obviously your use goes up. But on a daily basis, where nobody comes here, my consumption of cannabis is basically for a medical reason, like, and I don't use a lot then when you think about it.
Yeah, I have had the pleasure of having one of your flapjacks. And then I went to meet Howard Marks, because you kindly...
yeah.
I understand he said he's a very quiet chap.
He said, yeah, he's a bit... He seems very shy, and I wanted to tell him, no, because he was on a flapjack that day.
This is the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he gave me some of his spliff, which absolutely, did me.
Oh,
it was a great show. If anybody has a chance to go and see Howard's show... Google his website. It's got his tour dates. Well worth seeing. Saw it in Totnes last year, and then again a few weeks ago in Taunton.
Yeah, he's good. Brilliant.
This is Critical Mass Radio, the Totnes Hemp Show. Look, I can even play a jingle. Let's see what this does.
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now it's our turn.
How cool is that? I think we should get a Totnes Hemp jingle. We'll get someone to make one.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, okay then. Let's have some more music. This is from some Welsh singer. What's her name again?
Cerys Matthews.
Yeah, it's called Who Fears the Garden. Yeah?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, let's have a listen to what it's like.
Don't fear.
That was a really nice piece of music there. I like that.
Yeah, it's very chilled, that sort of music is.
I think I should check out. I've got one of her CDs, but it's all in Welsh. I think I prefer the stuff in English.
Yeah, check her old stuff out as well. She's pretty good, okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you speak Welsh, Des?
No, that's one thing I'm ashamed of. I don't.
Right.
And where I come from in the Canterville area, a generation before me, on my mother's sort of era, you had to speak it, obviously, and most people did speak it. But I think my era of people started not to speak it in their schools. Like, so.
Yeah, well, I've been to South Wales, and you don't really... All those road signs are in Welsh, but I didn't really hear it spoken. But I went to the north once, and everyone seemed to be speaking Welsh.
Yeah, you go north or west or mid Wales, and you will get a lot of Welsh speakers down there.
Up in Bangor, I stayed, but nice place.
Yeah, it's a lovely place to live.
So we were talking about cannabis and how you medicate to stop spasms and to stop pain, and also because you enjoy it.
Yeah.
Now we spoke how you were stopped leaving the UK in case you had any cannabis that you might want to smuggle into the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know the British police and border control got their priorities right there.
Yeah, dead on.
So now, if you were coming back you said you didn't bring anything back with you.
No.
Apart from what was in your system, smoking at the Birdie coffee shop.
Yeah, and the last couple of joints at the airport.
So, but I understand that if you were a Dutch citizen, you could go to a Dutch doctor and get a prescription for medical marijuana, and you could legally bring that cannabis into the UK and use it. Is that right?
Yeah, well, you don't even have to be Dutch when you really think about it. As long as you were coming from a European country that where cannabis is available on prescription, or a doctor can legally give you cannabis on prescription, then yeah, you can come to the UK with your cannabis in your possession under the Schengen Agreement.
But if you're British, you cannot do that.
No, not if you're British. And you can't even go to a European doctor now and get your cannabis from him and then come back with it, because you're not a resident of that country. It's been reworded by the UK police.
So, just to everyone listening out there to recap that, if you are a European citizen, not English, who has a condition that needs medicinal cannabis, which is permitted in many places in the world, including much of the USA, certainly in the Netherlands, in Switzerland, in Spain, you could legally, as a Dutch or Spanish citizen, bring your medication into the UK and use it, but as you as a Welsh citizen, you it was by
no, because we know country wrong.
I mean, this I'm request to question out. Last week, which was highlighting this, and that we have plans. Do you want to tell them?
Yeah, we got plans that we're going to invite some Dutch citizens that are getting prescribed Bedrocan, or any other European citizen. We got a few contact details with a couple of people in mind that we're going to bring across to the UK. As long as they got all their documentation and the medication with them, we're going to have a little demonstration outside Parliament with a bit of luck.
And this will involve people with their legal cannabis, because Bedrocan is not like Sativex, which is a cannabis tincture.
No,
this is actually green grass, yeah?
Yeah, it's bud form. It's bud. It's cannabis bud that anybody else can grow.
Yeah. So we'll have some people with legal cannabis and some people with identical conditions.
Yeah.
Who are going to also have the Bedrocan.
Yeah, and we're going to have some UK people who suffer the same sort of conditions going to be consuming their cannabis.
Yeah.
And then we'll have a couple who's going to be consuming their Sativex. So there's going to be the legal UK equivalent, the illegal UK equivalent, and the legal European equivalent.
Yeah, and already there's been quite a lot of press interest in this, and we've only just announced the intention to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so when will this be?
We're hoping for September the 6th is the main date, but obviously that date can change with the amount of interest that's being shown at the moment. We've got to make sure that all the patients that we're going to be bringing across can make the proper, the dates that we are planning. So it's going to be sometime in September, but hopefully September the 5th.
So then you're going to invite along some press, some MPs, and... Yeah,
we're hoping to get a good press coverage. I know the Independent are very interested in covering the story. Obviously more the merrier.
Well, it would be a bit of a dilemma for them, won't it?
Well, of course it is. Obviously something's going to have to be done. Something's going to be... there's going to be all different types of consumers there, and there's going to be legal ones, illegal ones. What's going to happen? What are they going to do? Are they going to arrest the UK ones and leave the other ones just carry on?
Well, that seems to me crazy that you could have, say, someone in a wheelchair who's taking legally prescribed cannabis to stop their pain and say, yeah, you carry on, that's fine, and then somebody with an identical condition say, no, not allowed, we're going to have to spend taxpayers' money to have you arrested.
Exactly, yeah.
I'd imagine arresting people in wheelchairs is logistically not the easiest thing to do.
No, I've had it once or twice. I've been arrested once or twice in the wheelchair.
Yeah?
Yeah, we've had one bust and one arrest up in Birmingham. But no, Birmingham one arrest, I don't think. Birmingham was just the yellow paper, was just a caution.
Okay.
So yeah, just the house bus for when I was in the wheelchair.
So how did they manage you? Did they take you to the police station?
Yeah, they brought a wagon along that can get you the wheelchair in, like.
Yeah? Oh.
Yeah, sounds
nice of them.
Yeah, and with me, you know what I'm like anyway, because I'm quite helpful, like, and because I can self-transfer, I'll just self-transfer and they'll just chuck a wheelchair in the back of the wagon anyway, so.
Well, you are a nice bloke. I mean, I'm not just saying that because you're on my radio show. You are a genuinely nice guy. Well,
I'll try and help somebody out if I can.
Yeah, and I'm sure that when you've had dealings with the authorities, that comes over, because didn't you organise or co-organise the marijuana march in Cardiff, which I went to that when we marched from one end of Cardiff to the other.
Yeah, it was a long march. Yeah, it was me and Ruben done this year's march. It was all right. It was a good enjoyable day, but things could have been better, like, and the police could have been better with us. The council could have been a lot better with us, because none of them wanted to be involved this year. The previous years, they've always helped us out. They've given us a nice little place where we can have our speakers. They've done the road closures for us, and they've really, they've bent over backwards, really. But this year, there's not much interest from both parties, and I believe it was something to do with the Olympics, because where we were starting the demonstration off, they had the Olympic flag out there, on the Olympic symbols out there. So that's what I believe it was all about. Yeah,
but they better get used to it, because the right to protest has not yet been made illegal in this country. I'm sure there are certain factors who would like to stop us pesky protesters, but for now, we're not going away, are we?
Oh, no, far from it. We're going to be massing again soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, I know our particular listeners to this radio station, Critical Mass, are the protesting type. Is there anything in the chat box? Let's have a look. There wasn't a minute ago.
I'll tell you what you're having a look there, and I'm going to mention that we got there's a marathon happening on the 3rd of November of this year in the Cotswold. Yeah. And we got a runner. His name is Daniel. He's going to be running in the marathon for Normal UK, so hopefully we're going to get some sponsors coming his way with a bill, and we get some money together. We'll see if we can make up a sort of sponsorship page for people to sponsor him in the marathon he's going to do for us.
Well, that's amazing. And we've had quite a good response from some head shops who said they're going to donate money.
Yeah,
and money to do things like pay for boat tickets to bring these Dutch people over with the Bedjacan.
Exactly, yeah. We can't expect them to put their own money in their own pocket to come across here and help us out on our campaign, because let's be fair, they are helping us, not we are helping them. So I think it's only fair that we try and get funds together to bring them across and put them up for the night and make sure they're fed and treated well while they're over here.
Yeah. Well, I'm the treasurer of Normal UK, and I'm a right stingy sod, so I shall make sure that every penny is spent wisely. And if anyone's listening out there and you want to get involved, join Normal UK. The website is www.normal, spelled NORML, -uk.org, or check us out on Facebook, which is facebook.com/normaluk.
You got that? Get in there, get and join up. Just let's get together. We can all join up and start winning this fight.
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now it's our turn.
Wow, couldn't resist pressing that again.
I was thinking, what was going on by your
We're going to get the Totnes Hemp jingle going, but for now, that's the Critical Mass Radio jingle. Where were we, Des? We were talking about protesting and various things.
Yeah.
So, we were talking about the Cardiff March. This was the second one.
Yeah, the second one.
And didn't the old bill showing interest? They were quite. I mean, I was there, and they were fairly pleasant. The people were clearly smoking cannabis, and they didn't seem to be that bothered. Howard Marks was there, who gave a talk.
I was in good correspondence with the police until till the day that we was the march started. Like, I was in contact with them daily, and things were changing daily. The council would first of all say, yeah, that place looks alright where you can have it. Can you give us a site plan and everything? What's going to be happening there? And then they'd say, yeah, you can go there. But then you'd see the council then going round door to door, making sure that people didn't want us there. And I think 3 families out of all where we was going, 3 families didn't want us there because the kids' playground wasn't very far from where we was going to have it. So we kindly, nice people as we are, we thought, right, we don't want to upset them 3 families. We don't want to upset anybody, do we? So we decided to have it out of the way in a more secluded area. So where we went was ideal, really. But the police eventually did say that they support, well, not support us, but they will help us out on the march and make sure all the roads were okay, and away we went. It was okay. They did give a policy that if they did see anybody smoking or consuming cannabis, using cannabis, that arrests were possible. But I think we had a little bit of an understanding with them where they said if one person gets arrested, we'll march on the police station and demonstrate outside the police station where you arrest everyone.
Which they didn't want. There was about, at the peak, there must have been 1,000 people there.
On the march, there must have been 1,000 people marching, yeah.
Yeah, that was a pretty nice chill day. But after everyone had gone, you did get some interest from the police. Yeah,
after we packed up and made sure where we was having the demonstration was all clean and tidy, and all of our nips and everything was picked up and was left in a nice, tidy sort of environment. Me and Ruben, I'd given Ruben a lift back home to his house. As I pulled up outside his house, we had one cop car screeched out in front of me, one on the side of me so I couldn't open my door, one on the back of me so I couldn't get reverse. One blocked the street and one done his little patrol to make sure everything was going okay. We had at least 10 officers, one undercover, and my wife got searched without the female officer present. Ruben got searched as well, the poor bugger. His house got searched. My car got fully searched.
Wasting taxpayers' money. They found a small amount, didn't they?
Yeah, they found 2 grams, about 2 grams of my personal weed, and I think Ruben had about 1.5 grams of personal weed on him. So for them 5 cars and then 10 coppers and that undercover, they managed to get 4 grams of weed off the street.
So at vast expense to the taxpayer, a couple grams of your medicine was taken, which if you were Dutch on holiday in the UK, you could have legally had. Yeah,
I could have been carrying on my business and having a good time.
It's a sensible world we live in, isn't it, Des?
Very, very sensible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very sensible.
So, are you ever going to shut up about cannabis and how good it is, or are they ever going to quiet you?
No, they won't. The reason I'm like I am is because I know how much good it does for me. If it wasn't going to do me any good, I would shut up. But it's doing me good, so I'm going to just keep on and on and on and on until I don't stop.
And you're in no doubt about that?
No, 100%.
Yeah. But I've seen it with my own eyes, how it helps people.
Oh, I've seen it on some good people like members of Normal. I've seen it work wonders with Clark French.
Yeah, who is coming on the show next week? We're going to get good. I'm sat here on my own now, drinking kombucha and hemp milk. My own hemp smoothies inspired by Free Rob, who we met last week. Ground up hemp seeds and apple juice. Absolutely delicious.
I want to try some of that hemp milk when I see her.
Very, very good for you. So next
week, her, she loves it hemp.
Next week we're going to have Indigo Hawk and Clark French actually here, so I think that'll be nice doing it rather than over Skype.
Yeah.
And they're going to talk about why they use cannabis for multiple sclerosis. So this is the Totnes Hemp show, and that was Des Humphrey. Thanks, Des, for coming on.
Not a problem. Enjoyed it. Thanks, Chris.
And we're going to finish off with Spiritual Groove.
clear the garden.